starting material. Okay, question 8. Aspirin can be used as a starting material for the synthesis of the drug salbutamol, which is used in the treatment of asthma. Salbutamol acts as an agonist by stimulating receptors in the lungs. Possible synthetic route is shown, so you've got you've just got the route. You've got quite a few steps in here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in here, and this is the salbutamol down the bottom. Okay. State what is meant by the term agonist. Well, that's a straight KU point that you need to know. And basically this is something which increases your normal response. Okay, or the natural response. And you're told that it stimulates the ones up here, stimulating receptors in the lungs, and tells you agonist by. So whatever the normal pathway would do, the salbutamol is doing the same thing. Okay. Suggest the role of ALCL3 in this arrangement. So ALCL3 is up at step 1, up here. You should recognise this. This is a very common setup, ALCL3. This is used as a catalyst. Okay, so catalyst, plain and simple. We then have suggest a reaction condition required for step 3. Going back up again, sorry with all the spinning. Okay, so here's step 3, and we've got bromine. You can see the bromine is ending up attached over here. What you just have to know, you have to know that either bromine or chlorine, generally what we're looking for is something that is going to break this bond, help it to split. We are looking for a fission that's going to happen here, and the best thing to do that is UV light. Okay, the mark scheme basically said we were just looking for light, okay, but UV would be better if you put that one in. Okay, for D, identify the type of reaction taking place at step 4. Back up for step 4. Okay, so we have to find out what is actually happening, what's different in step 4 to step 3 at the beginning here. So what's happened is we have this attached compared to this. I have swapped these over. So in terms of reaction, this is a substitution. Okay. Step 5 involves several reactions. Suggest a suitable reagent that could be used to convert the ketone carbonyl group to the hydroxyl group. Again, this is one that I would expect that you've spent the time just learning. Okay, it is lithium, aluminium, hydride. They're super happy for you to write it down as a proper formula. That's an L. Or you could say lethal, which is a kind of shortened version of that. You could also use sodium borohydride. This is in the mark scheme, the sodium boron hydride, but this is the one that you really are expected to see more often, and you just need to know that. Okay, and then we hit F, and F is one of these horrible ones. This is a 3 marker. Purity of salbutamol can be determined using a variety of analytical techniques. Using your knowledge of chemistry, discuss how analytical techniques could be used to determine the purity. Okay, so on the right hand side what I've done is I've gone and pulled the SQA key areas for where you're really looking for this. So this is the stuff in the research and chemistry section. And I'm not saying that this is absolutely where you would go with it, but this is the straight lift, and so you're like, well, it would probably give you a reasonable starting point. Here, we start off with mixed melting points and melting point determination. Okay, that is going to give you, apart from an identity of a pure compound, it will also give you an idea of how pure, the purity of that. Okay, then we have thin layer chromatography. So chromatography as a mechanism to determine purity. You're looking for it being a single spot in exactly the right place, basically. And you could talk about your RF value for that. And we've got identity of a compound down here. It says could be confirmed by comparing experimentally determined RF values, or making a direct comparison with a control spot. Okay, so that's pretty much where you're going. You could also, depending on if it works nicely. You could be looking at something like a formocalorimetry for an absorption or an emit or transmission. All of these could be reasonable ones to do, but I'm really expecting you would go down the route of the mixed melting points and melting point determination, chromatography, and that's where you would need to talk about it. Little pictures and diagrams would not go amiss. Okay, that's it.